Hi everyone, I'm Jason Crandell. I want to give you some thoughts and some tips in order to create more comfort and more effectiveness in your forward bends. So really I treat forward bends and back bends very similar. I tend to find that forward bends and back bends are more or less the same thing, just moving on opposite planes of the body. And I want to say that for forward bends, people that love forward bends find forward bends very soothing and very comforting and very quieting. And they also love the experience of getting into and removing some of that resistance in the back body. But that being said, some people have so much resistance in the back body and so much or so little ability to tilt forward in the forward bends that they're really difficult, they're really frustrating. And so we want to acknowledge that and do our best to work with it. Okay, so working with it, here are a couple of simple pieces of advice. Okay, the first thing, in all your forward bends, or at least the vast majority of your forward bends, focus on initiating the movement from your pelvis. Okay, when you start a forward bend, you focus on tilting the front rim of the pelvis towards the front of the thighs. Okay. So this is so important because the pelvis is really the central hub of movement in the body. And when we do a forward bend, we want to make sure we initiate that movement with that main central hub, that pelvis rocking forward in the hip socket towards the thigh bones. Then the second thing, and again, this is very much like back bends or what I suggest for back bends, which is to make sure that when you forward bend that you elongate your spine, but not so much that you become too straight or too hard or too rigid or hold your breath too much. So it's a really fine line between lengthening the spine in a forward bend enough and too much. And again, if you become too rigid or you keep fighting and try and make that spine really straight, you'll actually lose some of the sweetness, some of that quality of relaxation and soothing the nerves. So what I recommend to students is they start that pelvis in the forward, they start that forward bend in the pelvis, they lengthen their spine, and they allow that spine to round a little bit forward. Not gratuitously so, but a little bit of forward arc is actually really nice for the nerves and nice for the body. Okay? And then the last thing that I want to say is, in your forward bends, if you're experiencing pain or a ton of local resistance and frustration, just like your back bends, be willing to back off a little bit. One of the most important and effective ways that we can manage our experience and the quality of all poses is the intensity that we're using. And learning to regulate intensity is really important. And we have to know that learning to back off intensity is sometimes even more skillful than increasing intensity. So know in those forward bends that you're not just trying to push and push and push, but you're allowing yourself to back off at least sometimes in order to breathe more comfortably and feel integrated. Okay, thank you. Take care.